Hey,
Good
you.
morning. Good morning.
We'd like to thank our invisible house band for that intro music this morning.
Yeah, like late night TV show host. It's right over
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
The whole gang is playing.
Well, welcome back to Getting to Unstuck. Today it is Teamwork Tuesday. And before we get started, I just wanted to make a public service announcement that we are officially available anywhere you listen to podcasts as well. We have 8 or 9, actually 10 episodes up there already. So if you're looking for something to binge listen to and to get to unstuck, find us on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, on Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you're listening. Okay, so
That's
today
amazing.
we're talking about the power of a micro mission. So, do you relate to your organization's vision and mission, or does it seem that it doesn't relate to you and your team? Although they're crafted to be powerful and impactful, over time, they can fizzle out. It can be discouraging and cynicism can creep in. We begin to say things like, they don't get it, they don't get us. We start to separate and feel like our contributions don't have any value. No matter how big or small your team is, when we come together to design a micro mission, we can craft it to reflect our individual team's perspectives. So if you're wondering what a micro mission is, hang tight because we're about to go there. But let's first talk about some of the things that we just listed and what we've seen in either in our own personal work experience or in the people that we're working with right now.
I think in many places, people are attracted to work somewhere because they value the mission of the
Yeah.
organization. So they're aligned with it. They really like what the output is of the organization, whether it's a big commercial operation or whether it's a smaller nonprofit environment. People are often attracted because they like what they see.
Right.
But there's this sense sometimes of the disconnect between that really grandiose and lofty mission that you signed on for and the day-to-day work. And that's where we've found that there is an opportunity to create something that feels more tangible to us.
Yeah, I mean tangible to us and relatable to the specific team, right? I mean, so often, as great as they can be, a mission statement and a vision statement and things like that can be very sort of top down, right? And applicable to an organization with 5, 10, 50, 100, 100,000 employees, right? So the idea of a micro mission is to create something more bottom up that's totally specific to your team and their needs, right? The idea that how does this little team that may be in a much larger organization, how does this little team connect to that bigger mission and vision, right? What are we doing? What is specific to us? And how are we going to connect with our audience, which may be internal or external or otherwise, right?
And it's true when you get specialized, when you get smaller groups within an organization, the emphasis of their work can be very different than another team in the
Yeah.
same organization. And if there isn't a sense that we're all working the same direction, it can be very disconcerting on a day-to-day basis.
Have either of you ever experienced that in any of your work environments in your previous life?
I probably have a bunch of times. I think that's kind of I have a bunch of times, like even in bigger institutions, right? Big banks. And it's like, I remember one of the missions was, together to succeed, right? This was years ago. And it's like, well, okay, well, what does that mean? Right?
Yeah.
Like, for our little team of 6,
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think I think a micro mission is really important, especially in a time where cultural cohesion seems to be, anyway, from what we've seen, a challenge, because we live and work in such complex times. And we were just talking about remote work and a mini mission is something that, even if you are working remotely, it's something that can create greater community and greater connection amongst those members that might be right disparate and distant.
Well, and we're in a world of global multinational
For
organizations
sure.
because that creates a tremendous disconnect for people to be able to understand and to align with it on a smaller scale. I think
Yeah.
there's often, I mean, together to succeed, it makes really good sense. Like, wow, that's really neat. How, but how? That was what
Yes.
it comes down
Yeah.
to. And how
It-
does that get disseminated, as you said, from the top down? It isn't usually as effective as something that's grown from the bottom up.
Yeah. And I also think that it is, so I come from largely the social sector and the nonprofit world in most of my career. And I think that what can get lost and what I love about micro missions for teams is that even when you work in an organization that has a very strong, even very clear mandate, a very strong mission, it doesn't negate that mission. It actually only helps you connect and make it more
Mm,
real to have a micro mission. This is the term that, just want to say, this is the term that we've dubbed it, but micro mission.
yeah.
But for your team. And I don't know if there is any organization that is too big or small for it, to be totally
no,
honest. I
no,
think that it's valuable at every level.
I agree. Yeah,
Mhm.
when
Yep.
you look at even small organizations, there are divisions. As soon as you get more than 3 people, there's
Yeah.
something people are going to handle different things. And then as you want to be aligned, as you want to keep working towards that larger goal, because often those vision and mission statements are created from people's hearts. You know, they are not just a corporate statement. They
Yeah.
often come from a true intention in the world to
Mhm.
do good.
Yeah.
And it isn't to negate that or to be in discord with that
Yeah.
in any
Yeah.
way.
Exactly.
It's about alignment on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's about amplification, I think,
Mhm.
because if it's like a plant growing almost. If from the ground up you can grow something that's matching the aspirational, then you begin to come together. And we're talking in the singular almost right now, but what if an organization with 1,000 people had 10 different micro missions, right? That were all aligning and going towards the main mission, right? It just feels
Mhm.
as though it has this amplifying river, not river, but stone in a pebble in a pond kind of thing.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
ripple
Yes.
effect that
Mhm.
can be
absolutely.
really quite positive, actually.
Mhm.
And we've come upon this, Colin, because you've been doing this exact work with a client of ours.
That's right.
How
Yeah.
did you what was the circumstances that led you to this kind of solution?
The kind of the nugget that started it all off was a discussion around growth, and
Mm,
a discussion around really accelerated growth within an organization. And the sort of the fear, if you like, or the challenge, or the question, if you want, was, okay, how are we going to manage this sort of dramatic expansion in a very short time frame
mhm.
in a sector that is not an easy one. This particular team is facing outward, right, towards the consumer and the customer, with all of their, the challenges that might bring,
Mhm.
you know. But the same department has teams that are totally inward and don't deal with anything external.
Yeah,
So they've got a sort of kind of a unique set of circumstances and challenges and opportunities, right,
Right.
where they're about to grow exponentially. And how do you maintain cultural cohesion when you have older members, of not in age, but team members that have been there a longer time and might have some seniority, might be stuck in their ways, or might have their sort of their
Mm.
systems in place, and they might not be ready for massive change. And then
Mhm.
you've got the new teams arriving with eyes wide open, or maybe eyes wide shut, I don't know, but this is all new to us, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's how do you mix the oil and water of older and newer,
Mhm.
and expansion and growth,
Mm.
and that. So that's where the kind of the origin story came from,
Wow,
of
and that
how do we do this, right? But I think
mm.
organizations, could be, there could be so many different challenges of a team or
Oh,
an
yes.
organization,
Yeah.
downsizing, or we
Yeah.
were just speaking earlier about the remote work, and the challenges that's, bringing, and the resistance to coming back to work and things like that. So I think it can be applicable in any sort of zone where a team is going through a transition,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I think it also is comes back to, a couple episodes. I remember talking about using a phrase that someone used one time in an event that we were doing a corporate retreat or a team retreat with leadership, and someone said clear is kind, and I've never forgotten that phrase. I've used it over and over again because I felt like it was like 3 simple words that helped me encapsulate so much of what I've always has been my kind of inner ethos, and I didn't know how to capture it. But that's what a micro mission is too. Because if people are clear on things, it becomes a kind, like there's an element of kindness to your team that you're offering them to be able to be clear on what they're a part of, even at this level, because it is really easy and it's very easy to quickly do that. What we talk about, like that 1 degree from 1 degree from the level, and further down the road, that 1 degree becomes a massive distance. So to think about when we have a micro mission for our team, it doesn't need to be onerous. It doesn't need to, be heavy-handed, but it can offer a lot of space for people to be able to find where they actually fit in it.
Well,
And
yeah.
go ahead.
No, please go ahead, Carol. Yours.
Well, I was just going to say that if you are a leader of a diverse team and you're listening to this, what we want to be able to provide you with is some tools to create your own.
Yeah.
So what were the components? I think we've established expansion and growth, or downsizing. Both of those things impact teams specifically. Outward versus inward facing within the same team, and being clear about who we are. But what did you begin to build it? What were the pieces of it that came together, Colin?
Right. So the first piece is, how do I say this? Is to not deliver a micro mission as a fait accompli or as a finished product, right?
Yes.
Right.
The mission and the vision of a larger organization is already in place, right? So the teams are already having to absorb and adjust and adhere or buy into that mission and vision. What we're trying to do with the micro mission is make that designed by the team. So it's not a sort of top down. It's so the first thing that we started to do is begin conversations about the idea. So as opposed to coming to the table and saying, here's your micro mission and you better like it. It was about intention, right?
Yeah.
It was a conversation starter about intention, and that is actually going to last a few weeks, quite a few weeks, even a month or two, to really get the buy-in from all the members of the team. Right. And so it's really about involving everyone in a conversation, and also kind of flipping the not flipping or bringing into the fold the idea of maybe we don't need another policy document, right? Maybe a micro mission is something that is alive and organic, and so we create something like a monthly safe circle where we have a conversation where, much like brainstorming, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. It's just simply conversing about the shared knowledge and the shared experiences that we're all having. So those are really the first 2 kind of steps in getting a micro mission going. Is
are there certain elements that you suggest or that you have found to be a theme in micro missions?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a tangent, but the theme or the design is really to eliminate the ego and
Mm.
fear and reactivity from the situation.
Mm.
Because when you have, I think anyway, and you guys can confirm, but when you have great expansion and
Yeah.
growth and change and challenges, that creates a plethora of things to deal with, whether it's communications or
Yes.
structures or whatever. So the
Mhm.
idea is that you 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 begin with conversation and buy-in and connection and community, and
Mhm.
you kind of want to pull out the ego from those situations and
Right.
introduce safety
Right.
and a circle. So those are the beginning parts,
Right.
and I'm babbling on again.
The key word here is micro, in
Yeah.
that the vision and mission is often
Mhm.
built in a large space, and it's
Yeah.
designed by brilliant minds often, but
Mhm.
it is done, as you said, it people come into that. This is this is our vision and mission. The advantage that I'm hearing, Colin, in what you've been describing is that everyone gets a voice.
Yes,
So a
that's
micro
what I was
mission.
trying to say. Thank you.
Well, and that's why there's 3 of us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
What happens then is that it has to actually be kept micro.
Mhm.
And that's an important piece, because your team might be 25 people, which all of a sudden actually might even need to begin to break into smaller missions,
Mhm.
so that the
Sure.
micro mission, it might be one for the outward facing and one for the inward facing. And then they align slightly larger at this level,
Right.
and then it does become that organic tree that grows, but at each branch of it, each small twig has their own sense of, "This is how we belong."
Yes. That's
Oh.
precisely that's precisely the point. So that,
Mm.
um, you know, everybody in that tree is singing from the same song sheet. Sorry, I don't have a better metaphor, but, I was
I
trying to
love
make a
when
metaphor with
metaphors
trees
today.
but but I can't get there seemingly. But yeah, that's the idea.
Mhm.
Um,
Great
together.
principle. And it's how it began. I don't know any organization that didn't put a lot of thought into their vision and mission.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Right.
it's not like I mean, yeah, maybe some PR firm sometimes is the one that describes it. But everyone I've ever worked with, when they have a vision and mission, they've given a lot of soul
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And that's what this
And a
is.
mission in a mission isn't like it doesn't have to be fixed in time or fixed, you know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
unbending. It
Yes.
grows and evolves and with the organization and with the individuals that are in there. And so I think the ultimate gift of a micro mission is that it can make slight adjustments as well with the team. And it's like what
Yes.
you said, it's its own living entity that's part of what's going on in
Yeah.
the team. And that's really important. And I think that is also, uh, spoiler alert, the way that we really inject whole humanity
Mhm.
into our workspace is by remembering that we are real people. We are whole humans showing up in work and in life. And
Yeah.
the more that we acknowledge that, the more that we allow ourselves to embrace that, the
Mhm.
the more fulfilling work is, I think, quite frankly. But the more that we can do, right? The more that we can bring to the world. That's an important element. And so it's again such a fantastic example of something that can seem so small, but that can have such fantastic, what you said, Colin, ripple effects further down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And
It
you're right.
affects the day-to-day reality
Yeah.
of the people who are
Yeah.
walking in the door that day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that idea of organic that you were just saying.
Mhm.
I think you could almost call it a philosophy. Like this is our
Yeah.
micro mission philosophy, because
Yeah.
that
Mm.
allows you over time to be organic. And as the group might change, you might also have different stories and new stories and different challenges, and
Yeah.
but that organic sort of philosophy, that freedom to be almost sort of liquid, if you like,
Mhm.
but
Mm.
the river is going in that, in that, oh, sorry, there's another metaphor, trees and rivers and
Trees and rivers
everything
and
today.
singing.
We're doing a lot of
Organic,
nature
Colin.
today.
Yeah, it's very true.
Well, we want to make sure that we leave you with something that you can work on today, if that's what your input is. We have this wonderful whole human wheel of life that you can access on our website
Mhm.
that allows you to begin to see what's important in your life. The wheel of life, the whole human wheel of life is an excellent, quick little opportunity for you to take a measure of where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can find that over at wholehumancoaching.com. Thank you. If you're still here, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in, wherever you are. Maybe we're with you in your car right now. Maybe you are on your way to the gym. Wow, go you. Wherever you've been tuning in, thanks for listening. And remember, you can find us everywhere at Whole Human Coaching. And until the next time, have a great day.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, share,
Like,
all that
subscribe,
stuff too.
share.
Let us know.
Like and share and follow us.
Oh
on
yeah,
YouTube and
sorry. Oh,
everywhere else.
this is the worst sign off I've ever done. I just want to say this
Yeah,
is not
me
even going to
too.
make it to the B-rolls. Don't forget that if you have questions of things that you would like us to talk about, or for future topics, please let us know. Reach out to us at wholehumancoaching.com or comment on this episode and let us know some of the things that you would like to see us talk about. Thanks.
Take
See you on
care.
Thursday.
Bye-bye.